another, and I didn't ask anybody ahead of time, I probably should have. What's your thoughts on an additional suck?
Well, I don't think, you're not gonna let them use it though, are you?
One thing that caught my eye, I guess, was the fact that he hired the contractor to come in to do things that he can not have to hire if he has this truck, this back.
Do you want to use the microphone? I know I have people that ask me all the time that are viewing this on the television, they don't get to hear any of the comments.
I read the comments from the minutes that Joe sent out, and the one thing that I did notice that I didn't know before was he's gonna use this and instead of hiring another contractor to come and do work. I don't know how much he has them do that, but if our back can't handle it and this one can, and it saves him money by not hiring a contractor to do it, it's a different way to look at it. But I don't know the dollar amounts of any of that. That's just something that caught my eye. So.
Yeah, those two should be able to use it more since Doug won't be using it.
It is, I mean, it can be kind of bad to where you got one piece of equipment. I mean, theirs is more important to be used than, I can wait a day or so, but if you're talking water or sewer, you know, a backup.
Can you write that down?
Yeah, right. No, but I'm just saying that, I don't know, sometimes they get called out in the middle of the night or something's going on. They're running to try to find, where is the suck back? Is it at my place? Is it his place? I don't know. You know, sometimes I think it'd probably be beneficial for him to have his own sitting right there.
Okay.
There is times where we communicate between us all and we work it out to try to make it work. You know, Rich could have something going on, I need it one day and he needs it, but
We
it
have
does.
the most.
Yeah, they have it. I'd say the water department uses it
Yeah, we do.
80% of the time.
Yeah.
Is it just replaced or expedited backhoe work? Is that basically what it's doing?
It's, well, the amount of locate or things on the ground right now, it's just, you take a chance, it saves you from hitting utilities.
Okay, and I figured that's
And
what,
So right-
it speeds it up.
So it speeds it up because you could do a hole with a suck back and not have to do a one call. Not that you wouldn't do it, but with a backhoe, because when you're power back in there, you're not gonna break any wires or break anything. If I use a backhoe, I could rip a fiber
Oh,
out.
I know.
You know, but yeah.
So we fixed 2 water main breaks this year with just an axe up because there's 3 fibers going down in that hole in that area and that. And we actually had the water main fixed before the locates came in. So I mean, it's a lot more beneficial when the person gets them.
so you use one call and you don't wait for it?
It's emergency.
That's technical compliance.
I understand. All right.
I guess my question is, you say you can do all this stuff yourself instead of farming it out. You got the time to do it?
I do. Our department's seen a lot of new faces in the last 3 or 4 years. So instead of guys that are nearing their retirement, we had 4 of them that left. Now we have these younger guys that are in their early parts of their careers, and they want to work.
So there's more energy?
Yeah, probably.
Careful.
But the older guys. don't
Okay,
do
so
it.
what kind of contract services are we looking at, Joe, on something like that? And once again, it's not meant to be a trick question. What are you looking at, I mean, what are that you're hiring done versus?
So like in my summary there, it kind of summed it up. There's 4 lift stations that we do twice a year, so 8 total. There's no predictability to them. They get full of stuff, grease, everything else that needs sucked out.
Okay.
So it's a couple $1,000.
Okay.
The truck's $5.75 an hour, and you gotta pay either way, drive time from either Sioux City or Cherokee. So you got 4 hours by the time you get one done.
Okay.
And we use the suck back for different things than what water does. So when we're using it, we're sucking out wet wells, we're sucking out pits. It bothers me, and I don't know if it bothers Rich at all, but if we're sucking up human waste, and the next day they're out at a water main break using it,
Cross-contamination.
but
When you put it that way.
you would think
it's
it'd
not
bother
so
Rich more than me, but
Bothers
Well, I
me.
actually have had those thoughts.
Yeah.
On this. I mean, I would like to do without the truck. I would like to do without the truck.
we can figure
Because I
something out
really
there.
don't want to keep increasing
Yeah.
the city's fleet. So that we can get hit up by more insurance next year.
Yeah.
I mean, no, the whole thing, but I'd like to maybe
I can figure something out there.
look at maybe not.
Yeah,
going
I've got one that I was gonna get rid of it, then this used suckback came up and I had to get the 1-ton truck, so I thought, I'll keep this one for another year. It's got the plow on it, so I can do some finagling there, I think.
Okay.
With that 3/4 ton, you'd be able to pull that suck back with that?
No, I'd get rid of the 3/4, get the 1-ton.
I've been,
So it wouldn't be an additional.
Right, we'd
Swap
have the
the
same amount of
replacement.
vehicles.
But does that screw up your alley removal? You did a good job on alleys this year. I forgot
We
that
did.
during thumbs up.
We nailed them.
Gold star.
I didn't get one complaint about snow in the alleys this year. So, anyway, does that screw up your snow plow or?
I'd have to get the plow mounted on our other 3/4 ton truck. That's, as long as I can get the brackets to mount it on,
Okay.
it's fine.
Okay.
Any other questions of Doug?
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doug.
just one quick question, Doug. The expected life on that suck back, how many years do you think, 10, 5, 20?
The beauty is all the parts are available, so, yeah, well, I mean, they're still making them. The technology hasn't changed in that, so that's, I don't look to ever have to replace it in my span here with the city.
Okay, so you were estimating $2,000 per occurrence when you got a contractor. So you can offset the cost of that over, if you're really looking at, $10,000 to $20,000 in contract expenses every year, you're, probably paying it back.
Yeah, absolutely,
5, 6 years.
That's already 9 years old.
yeah.
So. Okay.
How good does our other one work? The other one that we got now, is that a pretty good piece of equipment?
It doesn't have the power that we need to be able to suck from 20 feet down below.
Okay.
I mean, when these guys are exposing the water mains are, whatever, 5, 6.
6 feet down, right?
It works great, but if you're gonna try and suck some grease up 20 feet down, it
Right.
doesn't have the power.
Sure, okay.
You tell them they have to fix it before they bring it back to you?
They tell him he has to clean it before he brings it
You guys are
back.
trying to start a fight.
We're trying.
Just saying, I remember that.
We're trying. Anyway, okay, thanks. Okay, that's not for me to say.
I'd like to go back to the hotel motel sales tax. One of the areas of concern or question is that increase that we discussed. I'd like to see that stay on the table when we get that set. I mean, get it set for hearing. There's no reason we shouldn't increase our hotel tax.
I think we can come with a proposal between now and then, I hope, so.
Yeah, we do have a couple questions that we need to talk about. We talked about what you just brought up, raising that. We have the fire station we need to talk about. We're gonna get that on the ballot.
And we also have an adjustment in our tax breaks of housing.
7 year you're talking about?
Yeah. Because I was curious on that one, why do we only give owner occupied, is that a state thing, that we only give owner occupied 5 years? Is that all you're allowed to give them? Because, huh?
You're talking about the 75,000?
75,000, yeah?
They're nodding
That's a-
their head.
Everybody's nodding their heads back there, okay. So that's only allowed for 5 years? But I think we wanna talk about that, I don't wanna drop that.
No, I think what you brought up, Mark answered that last time.
Yes,
We're
but
waiting
I'm
for
just
that.
saying, you were saying the things that need to be put on our list.
That housing study will be available at the end of May.
Well, I guess I'm
believe.
talking about, I'm sorry, Rob, I guess I'm talking about things that are gonna have to be on the ballot.
Yeah,
That won't necessarily.
correct, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a couple things we need to prepare if we're gonna be on the ballot for this November.
Speaking of, well, that's a different discussion, I guess. But yes, Mark, absolutely.
Any other budget concerns or discussion or questions?
We had discussion today, but like I said earlier, make sure you go through and think about it over the next 2 weeks before the hearing. There's
Sure.
other things we need to adjust.
But these cuts and things aren't gonna change the levy rate. They're not gonna change the need for the hearing on the 15th.
Correct.
So we do at some point need that motion.
Motion to publish the proposed 2025-2026 annual budget with a levy rate of 11.87050 and establish in April 15, 2025 at 12 p.m. as the date and time for a public hearing regarding adoption of the fiscal year 25-26 budget.
Second. There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion about the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Discussion items. Jason?
The only thing I need to bring up is, if you remember, maybe 2 months ago, you guys approved submittal of the application for STBG project, which was going to be 2 blocks on the south end and 2 blocks on the north end of 4th Avenue. That was submitted, it was denied, which I think I said wouldn't have been a surprise. It really wasn't our turn anyway. But I want to let you know what else came out of that meeting is we were previously approved for 7th Avenue Southeast, where we were going to remove from 12th to 18th, remove the center 20-some feet and replace it. We did get that awarded, that 2 years ago, I think. But they found themselves short of money, so they removed about $63,000 from what they originally said they were going to give us, with the intent to make themselves even, because they were short money. But with the intent of, if another project comes in under budget and they have available funds, we'll get made whole. I mean,
Yeah, I think there were 2 projects that happened to us, being one of them, if my memory is correct. There were 2 projects that happened to, but again, the intent was, if money becomes available, that those 2 projects would have priority over the.
Yeah, and that's a 28 project, so we've still got 2 years to worry about.
So the project's still on, it just the amount that was reduced.
Yeah, so really, the project estimate at the time of that submittal was 1.2 million, and we were gonna get 726,000 of STBG, so they took 63,000 off of that 726.
So our portion of
We do pretty well, usually. We've been awarded pretty substantial amount of money, as I look at going forward through STDB and all of that, but hopefully it comes back.
Yeah,
Okay. Is that all you had?
that's all I had.
Joe?
If there's any questions or other options you see with the budget, let me know. I can get those printed out so you can see what impact it has on each scenario. That way when those questions do arise, we can have those answers.
As it stands right now, without any changes, overall, deficit surplus
Surplus.
of, just ballpark, not.
It's not a big
thought it was
surplus. I'd say
65,000.
50,000 or
Yeah,
something like that.
what I thought.
And does that include the wage increase that we approved today for the fire department?
Yep.
Okay. I
Basically
knew it
has
did, I
the-
just wanted.
It has the most complete inclusion of every expense that could be
Okay.
included. So that's why I say if you want to see other options or other scenarios, let me know and I can remove some items and show that impact.
So getting back to what Clark had discussed before about, our days of reserve, we wouldn't be losing any days of reserve.
We should not be losing anything this year.
Actually gain them. We would actually gain days.
All right. Mark,
No, I'm good.
Steve?
I'm good.
I just want to remind people the Twig and Branch site is open now, right, and operational. Hours are Saturday from 9 to 4 and Wednesday from 1 to 6. Also, spring cleanup, May 10 and May 12 through 16. So that's a days you can bring out items to the landfill, and won't be a charge, so.
But still not.
Except for,
$1,000.
up to a ton.
Yeah,
Or,
and except for appliances, right?
And still not set it at the curb because people will ask.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
cannot do that.
Yeah, appliances, TVs that you would
stuff,
typically take out that you have to pay for, you still.
Yeah. Clark, do you have anything?
Okay, so, because I'm a little bit unclear where we're standing on your proposed budget. We've discussed some things. So, police is getting the guy.
I have that in there. Things can be
Fire's
changed.
getting the guy. Yeah, but when can they be changed? I feel like we're running out of time to be changing. So I'm just curious, right now it says here fire was asking for 2, reduced to 1, so that's in there. Is that correct?
Right.
The new fire engine, we haven't taken any action on that, correct?
Correct.
By approving the budget. I'm not picking, okay, but we haven't removed a pickup yet.
Right.
So you're gonna go ahead and update? I mean, I'm asking where we're at, because I'm kind of unclear where we're at.
Well, we've got the hearing on the 15th where we could make a motion to remove.
Right, that's where you're gonna have your final approval of the budget. And all the budget does is it allows you to make, it allows you to make changes. I mean, if you don't have things in the budget, then you have to do an amendment later for
Right,
the next year.
right, okay.
So if you have something too high and it comes in lower, it doesn't hurt your budget. Basically, it gives you a maximum limit of what you're gonna spend for the year on your best guess.
Okay,
And so if things come in that you cut and don't wanna do, it really doesn't necessarily have the impact on the budget, but the expense just won't be there.
good, okay. That's it then.
Okay. Brian?
Nothing.
Brad?
Nothing other than thanks for, I know you put in a lot of work on this, and department heads for your work, and better be looking at it from a surplus than a deficit.
Yep. Agreed.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor? Meeting adjourned.